It's time for Quick Calls with Mike the Ref on the Edmonton Sports Podcast Network.
All right, folks, it's Mike the Ref here at the Alberta Avenue Arena here in Edmonton with the Monster Pro Wrestling Road to Riptribution show. Wow.
Yeah.
I think that might be one of the best ways to put it. More like a wow between a wow and a huh. That'd be the way to do it here. Of course, as usual, I'm joined by the Wrestling Mind, Brian Hamilton.
Hello, guys.
And we have a very special guest, and anybody that comes in as a special guest gets to introduce themselves, because they could do it better than any of us can. Yes. Special guest.
Okay, so I'm Daniel. For those of you who come to the shows, you know me as... If you don't know me, then something is wrong.
Well, it's simple. You want to look at the guy that's cheering all the bad guys during the show? Yeah, that's Daniel.
Yeah.
Well, he really wanted to be on this show, and I think he's got some good reason to be here. So, because I know we have a lot of similar thoughts and got a little questions here, but let's get to the matches here right off the bat. First of all, we had the return of the American Man Mystery.
Oh my God.
Hey guys, be calm, calm down. And he came out and issued an open challenge, to which was answered by the debuting Big Ben.
Yeah.
Now, we've seen vignettes of Big Ben on YouTube, basically having some issues with the cat's meow, but he actually made his official debut here tonight against Weird Johnny, and ends up picking up the victory here. I'm very impressive with it being his first match. But Daniel, you're the first guest here. Let's get your thoughts on this match.
Big Ben surprised the heck out of me. You know, he is a newcomer coming in against, well, the American Man of Mystery is also, this is also his first match with MPW as far as I know. But he was very well outsized, and he just surprised the heck out of me.
Brian's shaking his head, but I'm going to agree with him, because the one time that he was here, he actually was supposed to be a corner man, but then he ended up getting into the ring against Jack Hammer. Yes. I believe it was Riptrubution, or no, it was Leo Burke Cup one year. Not last year, but the year before, I do believe. I believe it's available on DVD from Edmonton SPN, but that's a different story later. Brian, your thoughts on the match?
Different way to start out. But overall, not a bad match. It was great to see a newcomer, and in the end, the newcomer put over the veteran Weird Johnny and picked up a huge win in his debut match.
Best way I can sum this up is the hate for the American Man of Mystery was very apparent through this.
Yes.
But also, we had, there's a term that I have right now for guys like Big Ben in this match. OAF. Over as you fill in the last word, guys. This crowd was absolutely insane. It's almost like the homegrown hero who made his debut here tonight did an absolute great job. I have to say that. Now, let's move on to our second match here. It was a tag team match. We had the Sexy American Superstars, and I still feel sick saying that, even though I think the best dance in the arena tonight was Delmer trying to do Bradley Graham's dance.
Yes.
Bradley Graham, along with his tag team partner, the Steve Rivers, the All-American, taking on the Birds of Prey, Kid Cyrus and Mystic. Now, let's face it, the Big Sexy Beast, 369 pounds. The Birds of Prey, total combined weight, 369 pounds. Gee, I wonder if there's a weight mismatch in this matchup here. And it ended up coming into fruition here.
Yes.
At the beginning, the Birds of Prey were doing their best to try and keep the match quick-paced, trying to keep Bradley Graham off guard, keep Steve Rivers off guard. But in the end, the weight advantage was way too much for that team, and it ended up being a hell of an ending there. Just completely squashed the Birds of Prey, squashed them like a bunch of pigeons that just got ran over. But Daniel, your thoughts on the match?
Honestly, when coming into this match, as soon as it started, I knew there was going to be a big power mismatch with the Sexy American Superstars. Even Rivers alone, I feel, is almost as the combined weight of the Birds of Prey. And throughout the match, that power mismatch, that size difference really started to show itself, and the veterans just overtook the newcomers, and we had a great match.
Brian?
Like Daniel said, big American sexy superstars, too big, too powerful. They just dominated most of the match. Birds of Prey, they put up a great fight, but in the end, just too much weight. And the veterans picked up a huge win tonight.
And I was sure that the Sexy American Superstars were going to be in line for the tag team title match at Riptribution, but we got a little bit of a hiccup on that, but we'll get to that a little later on here. Let's move on to our first championship match of the night and our first situation here. And it's not any fault of the ladies in this match. Sexy Sam defended the title against Psycho Sawyer, and as far as I was concerned, it was a really good match between these two. Yeah. But near the end, Psycho Sawyer just can't get the 1-2-3 to get the title, so she ends up going outside the ring and picking up a chair. Nobody actually physically used the chair throughout the entire sequence. There were attempts to use it. The Harley Quinn-esque Psycho Sawyer, who was accompanied by Cater Joker, Kato, whatever way you want to put it. There was a whole bunch of kerfuffle. Kato was interfering. Referee got distracted. Referee got knocked with a huge shot. By the time he came around, he sees the chair in the ring, sees both wrestlers laid out, says to hell with it, I'm calling the bell for a no contest. Last time I checked, if you don't see something, you don't call it, right? Exactly. That's like referee standards here. I can't blame Ben because he needed a little bit of help, but at the same time, you gotta find a way to finish this match off. But I guess it's going to be continued next month at Riptribution with a chairs match for the ladies' championship between Sexy Sam and Psycho Sawyer. Before we get talking about the setup for that match, your thoughts on tonight? And I see you shaking your head.
This match, like you said, it was a great match between the performers, but just that ending, and like you said, as a referee, you can't call what you don't see. I do like that. I
know this is going to bite me in the butt later on, by the way. Just put a time marker on here.
I do like the fact that he ended it in a no contest and didn't decide either one of them as a winner, because that would have just been atrocious to this match. But I have to say, the highlight of this match to me was watching Saraya and Kato come out as the Joker and Harley Quinn, and that was just amazing.
Yeah, it was a hell of an outfit, I'll say that for sure. Yeah. Brian, your thoughts?
Overall, a great match, but like these women, they do not like each other, they hate each other, and it showed tonight. We had no winner, and it's going to prove it. They set up a great match for next month, the chairs match between these two, and they are going to kill the heck out of each other with those chairs.
Your thoughts on the chairs match coming up next month?
Honestly, I am intrigued by it. I don't know how well it is going to work. Honestly, just because I know they are both psycho and they do want to kill each other, but it has to be done right for me in a way, but I am very intrigued by it.
Yeah, likewise. I'm interested to see what can happen, because let's face it, these chairs are going to affect these girls a lot more than it will the boys.
Of course.
Not trying to be sexist here, but let's face it, both these ladies aren't exactly the size of the Irishman. Yeah. And it's going to affect them a lot more when they get hit with chairs. Simple as that. Now, moving on from there, we have our number one contenders match for the provincial title at Riptrubution. And folks, I believe we have the two members, 1B and 1C. Shout out to Andre C. for being 1A of the Chris Parrish fan club here.
Yes.
So we have Chris Parrish, Tyler James, the Wild Child, and Lumberjack Larry. Now, on paper, you look at this and you think that Lumberjack Larry is going to be a pushover in this match. He was far from it.
Yeah.
He got a lot of offense in. I thought he was going to get that ripcord clothesline out of he calls it the song cut, with basically going with a straight jacket bear hug, turning it into a ripcord clothesline finisher of his. But just didn't come to be. He ended up getting knocked out by Parrish, I do believe. Yeah. And then all of a sudden Parrish turns his sights on Tyler James. James gets him in a Boston Crab, and just as it looks like Chris Parrish is going to tap out, he managed to drape himself over Lumberjack Larry lying on the edge of the ring for the 1, 2, 3 just prior to the tap out. Now, after the match, there was a lot of mutual admiration between the former members of the Top Gun Cartel, who actually, in the match, managed to pull off their finisher in the match with the essentially the heart attack with a big boot. Yeah. I'm sorry, I was doing camera work and I sort of popped for that, but I could talk about this match for a little while here, but I want you guys to. Daniel?
Honestly, this was a great match. Lots of hard-hitting action. Larry surprised me, honestly, coming into this match. I thought it was going to be the Chris Parrish and Tyler James show, with Larry being the side attraction. But throughout the match, he got more and more offense in. But that finish was absolutely incredible. You couldn't have written it a better way, with Tyler James having him on his shoulders and Parrish taking him down from the top rope and then just straight into the Boston Crab to the cover. That was just perfect.
Brian?
Overall, this was a great match. Like he said, Lumberjack Larry, he was no pushover tonight. He showed it. He went toe-to-toe with Parrish and James, but in the end, there was just too much. And Parrish, very smart move. He knew where he was. He was in the hole, but he was smart that he did get the cover and the win. And great for him. So he's got a great title shot next month at a huge show. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting how that's going to set up for Riptribution. It looks like we have it set with the champion taking on Chris Parrish here, but I got a feeling this match was so close you might not want to count out some of these other competitors in this match. No. But I'm very intrigued if it ends up being a one-on-one between the champion and Chris Parrish. I'll get to the reason why here in a little bit after we talk about the provincial title match itself. Yeah. Now, let's move on to the tag title match. And this is where we begin to have the finishes.
Yes.
Very much.
The Cat's Meow, Kato, and James Crowder. Kato dressed up as a Joker. Nasty Nate Nixon comes out as Harvey Two-Face.
Yeah.
And James Crowder, I believe he was coming out as the Penguin, which really doesn't change much on its outfit. Yeah. Even including the belly, but I'll just leave it there. They're taking on Tag Struggle in the form of Sean Martins and Maniac. Now, I was actually really surprised at how well this match went with these guys. For a man that's so new in James Crowder, he actually did a really good job in the ring. And the champs were smart. They attacked Kato. They wore him out because they knew he was the quote-unquote A member of the team. And being the A member of the team, if you get him out of there, the less experienced James Crowder would probably be slim pickings here for the struggle. Now, at the end of this match was... I got to admit, I was a little off guard here because I was watching some beatdown at ringside. Essentially, Chris Parrish came around and gave the boots to Nasty Nate after he ate the guardrail, I think, 3 times in this matchup.
At least.
And the guardrail shot up and almost took out a fan. They're all in it.
It wasn't me for a change.
Wow, that's a small miracle in itself.
Yes.
Now, everybody's beating up on Nate at ringside. You got Martin's coming out there. You got Crowder. You got Kato. It's all a kerfluffle on the one end. Maniac's by himself in the ring. And, folks, if you have kids in the room, please cover their ears for the next 5 seconds. Who the fuck pops into the ring here? Raunchy Rick Jules.
Yeah,
out of nowhere. He gets in there, and let's face it, this has been brewing ever since Leo Burke Cup 2015, when Jules made his debut in January of that year as a guy named Someone New. And it just kept going, and then all of a sudden, the heck?
Car or something.
Random honking. What can we say? Podcast says everything tonight. I don't know who's honking. It's probably because the referees are causing problems in there, but that's okay. Oh, Jesus. It is the referee. What am I doing? Jesus. All right, anyway. And we want to give a shout out right now to senior referee Kevin, who is celebrating his 22nd wedding anniversary to his wife Nancy. Just a quick reminder that, if you would have killed her, you would have been out 2 years ago. Just in the words of Bobby the Brain Heenan.
Yes.
And more importantly, 10 years here with MPW.
10 years with MPW.
That's great.
Always a good reminder, and it's the Stockholm syndrome, I think, when it comes to having Kevin around here. Oh, never. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean you were here. He's got a lit cigarette, so I might have to run here during this podcast. So.
Fine, I'll put the cigarette out.
Oh, shoot. Anyway, so Rick Jules is in the ring, facing off with Maniac, and Maniac's in shock.
Yeah.
And we ended up getting the Sexy American Superstars come down for the beatdown, just to add fervor here. So we got trying to do the math here, 8 on 3 there at that point.
Yeah. Something like that, yeah.
So Chris Parrish manages to call out the Birds of Prey from the back. So they help. When you're that quick, you can get a little separation. Finally, we get the two groups separated, and Chris Parrish just drops the bomb on everybody. At Riptribution 10, it's going to be a fatal 4-way match for the tag titles. Tag struggle is going to be defending against the Cat's Meow, the Sexy American Superstars, and the Birds of Prey.
Wow.
Now, the only thing that got me upset about this matchup, besides the finish with a DQ and all that craziness, based on everything else we've had tonight, is the fact that Jules didn't get the pop I thought he would, for the mere fact that everybody was watching the commotion at ringside. Like, I was shocked.
Oh, man.
I know, Brian, you were shocked because you've seen Rick Jules before. Have you?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
And it was the biggest shock of the night to me, honestly, one of the biggest was him coming back and just the crowd not really paying any attention to it at first just because of the beatdown at ringside.
Yeah, trust me, Rick Jules is somebody you do not want to fool around with, and I wonder how he's going to play into the plans at Riptribution 10 coming up on November 4th. So, I missed your thoughts on the overall match here. Daniel?
The match, it was a great match, a great tag team match. You have two of the top tag teams in the company right now, the top babyface team in Tag Struggle, and in my opinion, one of the top heel teams in the Cat's Meow, and they just had a great match. And like you said, up until the finish, I had nothing to complain about.
Brian?
Oh, I thought this was a great match between all 4 men in it, and back and forth, hold for hold. Didn't know who was going to win, and like you said, the action inside, outside of the ring towards the end was just crazy. And
Hey, look, guys, Canuck Pro's career is just leaving right now. Oh, is that a coffin I see? Oh, never mind. But anyway, guys, we went to intermission following that, and then from there, out of nowhere, we had...
I just got one thing to say to you real quick.
Crap.
Like, next month, it's going to be real nasty when I take on Massive Damage for the Hardcore Championship. Yeah, he thinks he's hardcore. He doesn't know anything about hardcore until he versus me. You can take that to the bank.
Calm down. Calm down.
Check your privilege. Oh, I got nothing.
oh boy.
Ironic that we're just getting to this match here right now, folks. And this one sort of came out of nowhere. Massive Damage challenging for the provincial championship against the new champion, the real deal Sydney Steele. Now, this matchup here, don't get me wrong, Massive Damage is more than a fine competitor for this championship. And these two competitors had a hell of a match.
Yes.
But this match here, I honestly thought could have went either way. And to me, it just proves the increased quality of Sydney Steele over the last year. Like, if you guys go back and listen to the podcast a year ago from now, just the Road to Riptribution show 2016, I never thought Sidney Steele was turned into the athlete that he is right now.
Oh, he's great.
And having Angelica at ringside also does, help him out quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
But the comment of the night that I heard, shout out to referee Smalls. I was doing camera work next to Angelica, and the exact words were, "Oh, great, we have a good ass and a fat ass next to us." Right? And everybody's shocked. I'm like, yeah, and? Anyway.
Yeah.
But guys, let's get serious here for a moment. This match here, anybody's ball game for that provincial championship, then all of a sudden the Cat's Meow shows up out of nowhere and just starts beating on Steele.
Yeah.
Like, another what? I never saw this really coming, with the fact that we had the Cat's Meow nobody is even affected into the matchup here. Maybe Dean Richter paid him off to be here or something. I don't know. But Daniel, your thoughts on the match and the ending?
The match, it was a great match, but honestly, to start the match, I was in shock. I had no idea why Massive Damage was getting this rematch. I thought it should have been Richter versus Steele, which would have made a lot more sense to me, but it was a great match, two amazing performers. But, and then the finish with the Cat's Meow coming out and everything, it was a great match, but again, the finish just soured the match for me.
Yeah. Brian, your thoughts?
Overall, this was a great match. I just got one question. How the hell did Sidney Steele win the belt? When did he win it?
Last month. In the Fatal 4-Way.
No, he didn't. Did
Yeah,
he?
he did.
Yes, he did. Never mind.
Folks, temporary Alzheimer's on the behalf of the wrestling mind.
Too much wrestling I've been watching. Overall, it was a great match between these guys. But like Daniel said, I was expecting Dean Richter to get his rematch for the title, but it never happened. Massive put on a great show, but in the end, when you have other people come out and interfere, didn't work out for him, and I don't know what the heck's going on. Chris Parrish, he gets a title match against Steele next month at Riptrubution. That's going to be great between those two.
Yeah, I'll get to the Riptribution match in just a moment here, but following the match, after Massive Damage manages to help break up this little incident here, Massive challenges Nasty Nate Nixon to a hardcore match for the...
Nate was challenging Massive.
Nate was mouthing off from the entrance.
He was mouthing off, but then all of a sudden Massive's like, yeah, I want this match, so we're going to have this match.
Yeah.
True. And who's going to say no to Massive Damage on this one? So, your thoughts on what that match is going to be like?
That is going to be a great match. Nate, it's going to surprise a lot of people, I feel. Nate has a lot to prove. He's going to go in there with nothing to lose. Massive is a hardcore veteran, as everybody knows. I'm expecting Nate to lose the match, but I think he's not going to go down without a fight.
Brian?
This match is going to be just crazy between the two. If I know Massive, Nate, you better say your prayers and say your goodbyes, because you're going to be gone.
I'm just sad that the career of Nasty Nate Nixon, despite what he said earlier in the podcast, I'm really sad that his career is going to last under 6 months here in MPW. Because I swear that coffin shouldn't have went anywhere. It should stay here for the nasty one, Nate Nixon.
He's going to need it.
But going from that to the other championship match that basically has been calculated out, Chris Parrish, Sidney Steele, Riptribution 10. The former members of the OWE going at it. And this basically, if you go back a year, you had Sidney Steele, who was basically booted out of the OWE by Chris Parrish, Maniac, and Tyler James. Just by Chris Parrish and Maniac. Tyler James was out first. What do you guys think of this match now, essentially 1 year in the making?
This is going to be a great match. The rivalry between these two, like I said, has been a year in the making, and they're finally going to come to a head at Riptribution 10, and they're going to steal the night.
I agree. This is going to be probably the stealer of the show, and the funny thing is, both these guys are fan favorites, so it's going to be hard to see who's cheering for who. I think it's going to be split 50-50 and these two are going to put on one hell of a match.
Absolutely. And speaking of putting on a hell of a match, that's what we got for our main event here.
Oh my.
Crazy Core and the Irishman. Like, as you heard on Quick Calls last month, you had Irishman talking that the MPW head office was getting plead by Crazy Core in regards to having this rematch. Now, the rematch has been signed. It was tonight, and my God, what had happened? Like, this was just crazy how these guys know each other so well. They've been going at it tooth and nail throughout the match. But then in the end, Crazy Core grabs a chain from KJ Cash at ringside, who actually had her manager's license tonight.
Yeah.
Good thing I reminded her to bring it. But anyway, referee Ben catches the chain. KJ Cash is arguing with Commissioner Sicilian Assassin and referee Ben at ringside. They're going at it. Then Crazy Core gets another chain, chokes out the Irishman, and turns it into a chin lock for the submission finish and a new MPW heavyweight champion, Crazy Core. Now, I know you want to say something about this follow-up here, but following the match, as Crazy Core and KG Cash are getting at a ringside, referee Ben notices the second chain, pulls Commissioner over, and essentially between the Commissioner and the referee, they reverse the decision to a disqualification. Now, this is where the other comes in. Talking about consistency here, guys. I know you want to spit hellfire on this, so you know what? I'm going to get to my point in a second here. Daniel, feel free.
Okay, that match, honestly, how many times are you going to have reverse the decision on a match that you don't need to? Irish has had the belt for a year and a half now. It's time for a new champ. This ref, like, you can't call what you don't see. They're on their way to the back. The music is playing. The match is done and over with. You find the chain. So what? You have a rematch next month. If Irish was supposed to win this month, he wins the belt back next month. You can't keep changing the decisions on crucial matches like this, in my opinion, and that just bothers me.
Brian?
Oh, I agree with Daniel. This match was just like, he said Crazy Core did have the win, but the ref, he found the chain, he reversed the decision. And like I said, these guys, they do not like each other. I don't know how they're going to end this feud, because one way or another, somebody's got to either leave this company, or one of them's going to die, because these two hate each other. And it showed tonight when they resulted in all kinds of tactics. Crazy Core had to result in using a chain to choke out Irishman, to what we thought he did pick up the win and became new champion, but in the end, it never came. He reversed the decision, so who knows what's going to happen.
Now, myself personally, I don't mind the reversal of decision, except for one simple problem here. Let's go back to earlier in the night, the women's match. Same referee noticed that there was a chair in the ring with two competitors down, or one competitor, and it was obvious that chair was being involved, but he couldn't determine how or who. So he called a no contest. Now in this match, he saw the chain, automatically assumed it was going to be on the Irishman. He didn't see it happen, so you can't say that he did. If he would have called this one a no contest as well, I wouldn't have felt so bad.
I would have been okay with it.
But he called a DQ.
Yeah.
And that might be a small issue, but let's face it, folks, if you're dealing with boxing commissions, wrestling commissions, and all that, Crazy Core now has a right to another rematch because it was a BS call on the finish.
It was.
Yes.
Like you said, if he would have assumed that, you can't make assumptions in this business. You can't. He finds the chain. Instead of calling it a DQ, he makes it a no contest. Everybody goes home happy because there's consistency between his calls. That match showed no consistency between the two matches that I noticed.
Yeah, and there is no doubt in my mind that Crazy Core is probably already on his way to the MPW head office to ask why that was not a no contest based on the earlier result here tonight.
Exactly.
But and he's swearing as he's leaving too. That's rather amazing here. But regardless, this match here, I'm very surprised on how they're able to pull off different stuff in this match and make it feel different. They did. Like I said, the ending, it was another one of those endings.
Yeah.
So overall, we can't argue the talent in the ring. It was great. It's just the booking and the finish is just left a lot of questions, which hopefully are going to get answered at Riptribution 10. Hold on. Sorry, folks, we had a little bit of intrusion here by Tag Struggle. What a shock. Yeah, so this match always keeps being fresh all the time with these two. And I got a feeling we're going to have these two going at it once again at Riptribution 10 at November 4th here at the Alberta Avenue Arena. And we got that. I'm assuming we still have the Ripper Battle Royal as well.
Yes.
Fans bring the weapons. My goodness. This is an annual tradition here. But before we get to our highlights of the night and our surprise of the night, actually, you know what? I got the perfect person to ask because I know what our surprise of the night is tonight. Mr. Maniac, great to see you here. Congratulations on defending your championships, even though it was a DQ, no contest.
Yeah.
But I know that look on your face right now, so I have to ask the hard question.
Bitch is going to die.
Rick Jules?
Going to die. Bitch is going to die. Delete. I'm going to straight up say, next month, Riptribution 10, you are going to witness a murder. I am going to jail at the end of that show. Murder. Straight up murder.
So that's why the casket should have stayed here.
Yeah.
All right, these guys are frothing at the mouth, and that's not from beer, so they're very upset.
Not yet.
now.
Yet. It's you know what time it is? It's beer o'clock, which means
It's Miller time?
it is. It's too sweet time.
Too sweet time.
On that note, I guess we're gonna.
I'm sure your texts have some bleep buttons. Fuck Rick Jules. I'm going to eat him out.
Exactly.
Take that how you will.
With all due respect, I swear on this one, so everybody's allowed to.
Fuck that guy.
Fuck!
On that note,
Dead struggle.
all right, let's get back to it here. Guys, this is a tradition that we brought up every year at Road to Riptribution. What are you bringing for a weapon next month?
Me and my two friends that I come every month with, we got a couple of surprises. We're making homemade chairs, and last year we brought chairs for Parish and Maniac, so it's going to be a surprise this year.
Brian?
I'm actually working on a bunch of things. I got a paddle with thumbtacks on it and one wrapped in barbed wire right now, and a bunch of other ones I'm working on.
I'll be honest, last year I got pissed off because my gifts to the Battle Royal were not they didn't allow me to use them. For some reason they decided that pancake syrup and fly paper did not work properly. Brutal Braden Lewis, you are such a lucky SOB. So I think I'm probably end up going to bring a cane because, referee Kevin is like a senior citizen and needs a cane to walk around. So that might be the most useful thing I might end up bringing. So
It's good.
all right, folks, time for our highlights of the night here. And Brian has insisted on going first because he wants to steal everybody's thunder here. So, Brian, go right ahead.
My highlight of the night is a triple threat match between Chris Parrish, Tyler James, and
Lumberjack Larry.
Lumberjack Larry, yes. What a great match between those three, and in the end, the Parrish outsmarted everybody, draped his body over Lumberjack Larry while he was in a Boston Crab and picked up a huge win. Gets a huge title shot next month. Can't wait.
Daniel, your highlight of the night tonight?
My highlight of the night's going to have to be that tag title match between the Struggle and the Cat's Meow.
Listen, that main event was crap.
Yes.
That's all. I'm hungry.
KG Cash, folks.
know about Roots, huh?
Oh my. Oh my. Gong show it is, folks. Daniel, back to your...
So yeah, like I was saying, my highlight of the night's got to be that tag title match between the Struggle and the Cat's Meow. You had the top babyface team as of last month in the Struggle, and going up against, in my opinion, which is the top heel team in the Cat's Meow. And I feel like this rivalry can go on for a lot longer. Also, it set up that terrific Fatal 4-Way match we're going to have next month, and it's just going to be amazing.
All right, folks, my highlight of the night, I'm actually going to go with the provincial title match. I'm going to be honest. We try to pick a different match for each of us for the highlight of the night. With the way these matches ended tonight, it was hard to pick a third one here at this point. But I'm going to go with the provincial title match for the fact that the action was good up to the point of the finish. So, and then, of course, we already talked about our surprise of the night with raunchy Rick Jules showing up and Maniac about ready to kill him right now.
Oh my God, it's a mass murder.
He still looks out of shape. One thing that did surprise me we didn't point out was the pop that the sexy beast got tonight. Finally, the crowd showed their appreciation for what he did.
No. That was Delmer. That was Delmer. 100% Delmer. And I will say Delmer danced better.
I thought it sounded like a girl. Sorry, man.
Well, some things just apply. What can we say here? But yeah, I think we're gonna wrap this portion up here because we're in the middle. It's raining and these guys don't want to get soaked. Yeah. So I want to thank Daniel for helping us on this show.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure to be here, and I'll come back anytime.
I think we're going to have a very special one coming up next month here, so I'm definitely going to want you around for that. For sure. And the Wrestling Mind, Brian Hamilton, I want to thank you.
Always a pleasure, and I can't wait to do this again.
All right, folks, back at Edmonton SPN World Headquarters here. Figured it'd probably be a little safer for me to do the wrap-up someplace where I'm not driving in a rainstorm and, trying not to kill anybody on the road and that, so probably a little smarter this way. Next coming up on the network will be actually on Sunday, October 8th, following the WWE Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. We will be dropping our latest edition of CWC Evolution, featuring the initial title defense of the Alberta Championship by Dylan Stone as he defends against Lumberjack Larry and Kato, as well as two tag team matches. The oddball team, for lack of a better term, Johnny Kickass and the Irishman, are going to be taking on the team of T.S. Cutler and a mystery opponent. As well as in the main event, the wrecking crew of Dean Richter and Sean Martins is going to be taking on the Birds of Prey, Kid Cyrus and Mystic. So that is going to be on the Edmonton Sports Podcast Network YouTube page. In terms of network programming, podcast audio, of course, you're going to have the Sounds of Struggle coming out this Thursday. It's probably going to be Thursday morning, if not maybe Thursday afternoon, depending on my work schedule and when they get stuff in. As well, we are going to have a Blown Call show come up this week as well, because I got a rant that is dying to get out. I don't need to get into too many details right now, but simply put, I believe the title of this podcast is going to be Canuck Pro. There's been a lot going on with that, and I'll talk about a little bit more on my podcast this week. Our next Quick Calls episode is going to be coming up. Actually, it's going to be in 3 weeks from now on the 28th of October. We're going to have two editions coming up. I'm going to be heading up a special YouTube coverage one from the Headlock of Horror show presented by the Canadian Wrestling Coalition from the Abbey Masterbuild Center in Blackfalds. The only match that I know of right now that is absolutely scheduled is two matches. You have Johnny Kickass against the Irishman in a grudge match. Finally, these two are going to be able to hash it out. And then in the main event, you're going to have T.S. Cutler and a mystery partner taking on the wrecking crew of Sean Martins and Dean Richter for the inaugural CWC Tag Team Championships. You want to find out who the mystery partner is, folks? Check out Evolution this week to find out. I'll be covering that. And then also heading up an audio coverage will be Andre C. I know him, the Wrestling Mind, Brian Hamilton, as well as the first couple of PWA, Ryan and Amanda. They're going to be at the PWA Fright Night show from the Northgate Lions Senior Center in Edmonton. It's going to feature a 5-on-4 elimination match for 3 different titles. The Heavyweight Championship, the Commonwealth Championship, as well as the Tag Team Championships will all be on the line in a Survivor Series style elimination match. As well, you have the Omen Gabriel cryptically making an announcement that he will be taking on the Sheik at Fright Night, or at least confronting him. So you're definitely going to want to check that out if you're in Northern Alberta, and Andre is going to be leading up the coverage for that show. So other than that, we got some big announcements coming up in the next month here. Make sure you're checking out the Sounds of Struggle 45 in 2 weeks. They got a major announcement for Monster Pro Wrestling. I'm going to have a very special announcement coming up on the November 4th Riptribution Quick Calls. We are announcing not only a new show for the network that will be coming in 2018, but a major announcement that we're working with MPW on. So make sure you guys check out that episode. And then we're making a big change in the network here in terms of coverage. The big special announcement is going to be brought up at the Quick Call show from Christmas Slam for PWA on November 25th. Hell of a show, which is going to involve current Ring of Honor World Champion Cody and Brandy Rhodes, members of the Bullet Club. That is going to be an epic show, and we got an epic announcement to round out the year there. So, but it's about time I wrap this show up here, folks. Once again, I want to thank Daniel for joining me on the podcast, as well as the Wrestling Mind, Brian Hamilton. And don't forget to pick up your limited edition shirts. Yes, folks, they are now limited edition at whatamaneuver.net. The Front Row Mafia, as well as the One World Empire and the Vintage Struggle shirts, as well as the Danimal Daniel Jobber shirts. Get them while they're hot, folks. But once again, I want to thank you all for joining me here, whether you're on YouTube, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, or using the Podbean app. This is Mike the Ref saying, if you're going to make a good call, make a quick call. And this has been Quick Calls from the Alberta Avenue Arena with Monster Pro Wrestling Road to Riptribution here on the Edmonton Sports Podcast Network.
This has been Quick Calls with Mike the Ref on the Edmonton Sports Podcast Network. Contact us on Facebook or check out edmontonspn.podbean.com.